Hi, welcome back. Um, so I've had this bike now for about 350 miles. I've ridden it. Um, yeah, and I thought it's probably about time I kind of reviewed it a little bit. Let everyone know what I think about it. Never done a review before, so I'm not really sure how to go about it, and it's going to be a bit of a winging it, I guess. But we'll see. Let's just see how it goes. Um, right, so I bought this bike when it had 502 miles on it. I don't know if you can see that. It's now done 134. So technically it's still in its braking phase. Um, it's So you're supposed to be able to ride at full speed when it gets to 1500 kilometers. Um, which is about 900 miles, more or less. So I bought this bike off um, a young girl. I don't know how old she was, but she was talking about university, and she'd been riding it around, and she put on the 500 miles, and it's in immaculate condition when I bought it off her. Absolutely immaculate. Honestly, she said she'd had it for a couple of years, so if she only did 500 miles in a couple of years, then, well, she wasn't doing much. Let's say that. And I think she just realised that riding wasn't for her. That's the reason she gave, which is fair enough. It's not for everyone. So you've got this 125 engine, which is in everything, Chinese built. It's based on Suzuki GS, I think it says GS somewhere on it. It's got the brakes are connected to the front brakes. So my understanding is when you use the back brake, it sends a small amount of pressure to this caliper here, which is connected to the central one. So you're getting one pad onto the front brake. And whether that's at like a lower rate than if you were doing full on the front brake, I think it probably is. I think there's somewhere in there there'll be a kind of box where you can adjust the amount of fluid going to the front brake. Yeah, I don't really notice the front brake coming on when I use it, but obviously it's only at slow speed, mainly, or coming to a stop. And then the front brake comes into here, and then I believe the fluid goes also to here. So it's these two front ones that are getting activated when the front brake comes on. I did. This was my concern when I bought it, or any of these Chinese-based bikes, is the combined braking system. There is someone on YouTube who has disconnected it. And basically, what you need to do is disconnect this one here. So you've only got the back brake running to the back brakes there, and then pull this line, undo it here, sorry, and then plug it. and that's effectively what you do. But I did see one question on there which wasn't answered, which I did think was actually quite an important question, which was, how does that affect the MOT? And that's a good point. I don't know, because it's a Euro 5, and so that's what part of the Euro 5 is, compliancy. Apart from the exhaust, it's that as well. And whether that would then fail the MOT, I don't know. It's an interesting one. Maybe someone can comment on that. Ride. Yeah, it's a 125. It's a bit rattly. Really ridden on that many 125s, I can't really compare too much. But it's fun. It's a fun bike, and I think this is the thing. If you're thinking about getting a 125, any 125 will be fun to you. Promise you. If you're just starting out, any 125. So don't worry about the fact that it's not as fast as the Japanese bikes, or it's still going to be fun. You're still going to love it. So first gets to about 15 miles per hour. I mean, I guess if you push it, you could go to 20. Then second and third are the gears that I use the most. But you can trundle along at sort of 30 miles an hour in fifth gear if you want to, quite happily. You'll do it. Gears, they're a bit clunky again. It's not the most sophisticated machine you're ever going to find. But neutral can be quite difficult to find sometimes, I find, which is why I tend at lights never to even try to bother to get into neutral. It's just not worth the hassle. The grip, I mean, I've not had any problems. I know some people complain about these Chinese kind of scrambler road tyres, whatever you want to call them. I've honestly not had any problems with grip at all, and I ride it quite, I'm quite happy leaning down relatively far on it. I must admit I've not really driven it in the rain, apart from a light splattering of rain, and so I can't really comment there, but I think Stuart Fillingham, is it? Something like that. He made a good point that any tyre that you have on the road in the UK has to meet a safety standard. They can't just have a crappy tyre. It's got to meet a standard. And so must these. It's that simple. I've never really accelerated that hard, simply because it's still in its kind of braking phase. But when I have, I suppose, it's okay. It does all right. I don't feel I'm slowing anyone up or anything like that, holding anyone up. So this particular bike, the exhaust is looking pretty tatty. As you can see, it's a bit rusty in spots. It's rusty around here, which I guess the lady I bought it off, she might have dropped it, not really told me. I did ask her if she dropped it. She said no. I wouldn't have minded if she had. Some of these spokes are a bit rusty. But generally, if you look after something, it's going to be okay. It's a bit rusty there. I did actually adjust the chain tension the other day, because I did ask the mechanics to do it where I took it, and they clearly didn't even touch it, even though I specifically asked them a few times to do it, and they didn't. So the wheel was actually wonky, which I took it up to speed recently, and it felt a bit unstable, and that was probably why, to be honest. So anyway, I've got some chain cleaner as well, which I plan to do fairly soon. So these are not the standard handlebars, which you might be able to tell, the eagle-eyed amongst you. These are much wider. And I put these on myself, no hassles. There are plenty of videos out there telling you how to put new handlebars, but just for reference, the original handlebars have got some holes that these fit into, and I haven't drilled them. I've actually put some bicycle inner tube there to hold it. It's fine. The cable length, I didn't have to do anything with the cable length, they fit fine. So the reason I did that was because I actually fell off it. I was only doing about 10 miles per hour around a mini roundabout with loads and loads of potholes. And yeah, it was. It was my early days. I was trying to avoid the potholes, and then just ended up going towards the curb and panicked and put on the front brake, and then boom, straight over. I won't be doing that again. So yeah, and anyway, so the handlebar got bent a bit, not much, but a little bit, and I'd always planned to change them anyway, because my sort of gripe with this bike is that the original handlebars, are not wide at all. And I've actually measured the original handlebar, and it's 650 millimeters, which for handlebars is not at all wide. Most bikes are getting up to sort of 800, 750, 800 millimeters. So it's a good 100 millimeters off what a standard bike is, at least, or whatever a standard bike is. So these are, I think, 810 millimeters, possibly 805, not sure. And I just got them off eBay. VMP motorcycle. I can try and find a link if you want. They're much wider. They're kind of lower stance. I think they make the bike look better. It's more like that kind of Steve McQueen look, I suppose. Yeah, I think they make it look a bit better. Easy to fit, no problems. Honestly, if you're even slightly mechanically minded, you'll have no problem. The only thing is that the bar end weights, the original tube, although this is a 22 millimeter wide, it's only 14 millimeter in the inside, which means the original bar end weights wouldn't go in. So I had to order basically a bit of tubing to allow this screw to bunch the tubing up. Simple. Faults? Have I had any? Honestly, I'm struggling to think of any faults I've had with it. Touch wood. I've had no problems. Have I had no problems? Yeah, I've really had no problems with it. Right in the early days, I did have a thing where the engine light stayed on for sort of one ride, I think, or maybe two, I'm not sure. What did I do to fix that? I don't think I did anything. I don't think I did anything. The engine light certainly doesn't come on now, so I've not had any problems with that. since. I did find the chain was loose, so that's why I've adjusted it. But that's normal. That's not anything wrong with this bike. It's a normal thing that you have to adjust the chain. Yeah, honestly, I can't think of anything that I've had to fix on it. Another modification I've put on it is I've put a USB charger here. It's just one USB, feeds through into here, and it just goes onto the battery. Simple. As long as you don't leave your battery, something plugged into it all night, you're not going to have a problem. But I doubt many people are going to do that anyway. I think it looks good. It's a good looking bike. People certainly look at it. Even just now, an old lady was walking past and she was looking at it. I think, yeah, people just think it's an old bike, which obviously it looks like one. I can honestly say I think I made the right choice here. Because it's a bit of a minefield, all these kind of Chinese bikes out there. You know, let's think about this with you. You've got Bullit, which is now bluroc. You've got AJS, Herald, Mutt, obviously, is the famous one. Are there any others? There probably are. So it's like, you know, which one do you go for? And they're all the same bike. They're all essentially the same bike. You know, okay, maybe the Mutts are, you know, apparently they upholster the seat in Birmingham or something. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. But if you look at them all, they're all exactly the same frame. You know, maybe the tank slightly changes between them, or the seat, you know, cosmetic things, but they're all the same bike. And then it really just comes down to price and how long are you expecting to ride on this thing. You know, for me it was just it's a stepping stone to getting a full bike. And I'm really not planning on spending much time on it. I mean, these are the sort of cheap ones of the group of Chinese bikes. And honestly, you know, what's a mutt? A mutt is like three and a half grand, something like that. Probably even more, actually. So with 3.5 grand, this was half the price. And okay, sure, you can get a second-hand mutt, but it's still going to be up there. That's sort of almost 3 grand. This was 1,700, and same bike, works just as well. Yeah, yeah, and that's not to say if you want to go for a mutt, don't go for a mutt. Go for a mutt if you go for what you want. It's all about personal preference. But yeah, I think I'll wrap it up there. I don't think there's much else to say. It's really just a video so people can see the bike and have my thoughts. I'm very happy. As I say, I haven't got anything to really compare it against, other than my little CB 125 that I had back in about 10 years ago, which was a 1970s bike. But I mean, it's obviously a very different machine. I can honestly say this is probably built to a higher standard than that bike, and it's bigger. It feels bigger. Whether it is bigger or not, I don't know, but it certainly feels bigger. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'll wrap it up there. I think that's good. I hope you enjoy the video. If you got any questions about the bike, just let me know. I can easily comment and or make another video about it. Let's see.